Hi everyone, for those joining. Just going to give a couple more minutes for everyone else to join. The number is increasing here in the corner of my screen, which is good. It's 26 now, 28.
I actually see a name I recognize. Chris, are you the Chris that did an internship with us a few years back? If yes, put it in the chat. Feel free to reach us out in the chat, people, if there are questions. There's a Q&A as well, though.
Yeah, there's a Q&A. Feel free to put your questions in there as well.
I see now that the webinar chat is closed. It's only available for panelists.
Oh, but they can put something in the Q&A though. Yeah. Oh, it's a question in the Q&A.
Yeah. So the chat is closed. We apologize for that. We're fumbling with Zoom. We mostly use Teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, hi, Chris. Really nice to see you again.
Okay, I think we can get started now. The number seems to have stayed where it is. Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining this evening. It's good to see so many people here. It's definitely more than last year, which is great for us. Just a quick introduction. My name is Liam Hartley, and I am the EDP coordinator. So my job is basically to manage and facilitate everything that goes on with the EDP. So that includes the recruitment cycle like we're doing now, the rotations later on in the year, and just the day-to-day management of everything that goes on. So you will, if you do join us on the EDP, you'll have a lot of interactions with me, and we'll get started now. So thank you very much for joining today for our Engineer Development Program webinar. And I will go to the next slide here. So I'm just going to move this slide. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to pass you over to my manager now, Kate.
Oh my God, that sounded very
I know.
So hi everyone, so I'm Kate, I'm head of the Learning and Development Department, and as part of a developmental initiative, the Engineering Development Program sits under there. Liam massively underplayed himself and his role in the company, and he will be looking after early careers as well, and anything talent development related. So he's quite important to us, and trust me, if you do get selected, you're in very, very good hands. I'm going to give you the agenda for what's to follow today. Like Liam said, there's a Q&A. Unfortunately, the chat is blocked. Sorry, we didn't set the webinar up. Marketing did, so all complaints go to them. So we're going to talk a little bit about us, who we are, who is ABL Group, and what do we actually do. And then we've got, don't take our word for it, we've got our current and past graduates to give you an idea, flavor of what you can get out of the program. Then Liam is going to walk you through a little bit about what it is and how to apply, and we'll have the Q&A at the end. Very briefly, because we are not here to listen from me, you're here to listen from other people. So like I said, I'm head of learning and development. I've been with the company for 4 years now. I know Chris because I used to do HR for one of the subsidiaries, OWC. So I moved from that role to the learning and development, which is like my passion. And we've got Stuart. Stuart, do you want to say hi, introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Stuart Mill. I've been working with Kate for the last 2 years. I joined ABL 15 years ago, come February. So I was formerly the group commercial director. And for the last 2 years, as I said, I've been working with Kate and Liam on the engineering development program.
So Stuart has been mentoring, supporting, and helping everyone in the program, and we're very, very lucky that he was kind enough to give us his time and his efforts. Then Liam, I don't know if you want to say a few things about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I, as I said, manage the EDP now as well as the early careers. So I did mention that at the time, but yeah. So I wear a couple of hats here at ABL Group, and prior to that, I worked with the L&D department, but in a content creation role. So my job there was to create learning content. It's a big initiative that we've got going on in the company. So yeah, I'm training, making and creating training content on that. Prior to that, I was a school teacher for nearly 15 years. So I was a primary school teacher in the UK, but also spent 4 years in China teaching in schools across Shanghai and Guangzhou, and then came back to the UK in 2021, taught for another year, and then joined ABL Group.
Fun fact about Liam, he can understand a very few Chinese characters. If you make it in the company, he can give you a few funny stories about his exploits in China. I'm going to pass over to Stuart in a second to talk about who ABL Group are and what we do. And after that, we're going to move to our current past graduates. We've got Paloma. Paloma, say hi.
Hi, everyone.
So we've got Amy.
Hello.
And Joe.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you time to introduce yourselves now because you hopefully will have your own time in the limelight. But Christina, if you want to say hi.
Hello.
Hello from Athens. And then Lucia. Lucia, we can't see you. Turn your camera off. You're muted. Hi. That's okay. You'll get more time to introduce yourselves better in the coming minutes. And then finally, Liam is going to talk to you about what you came here, what is the ABL Engineering Development Program, how you can apply, and there will be a Q&A that he will run. In the meantime, if you have any questions, any basic questions that I can answer with the things that I know, put them in the Q&A. I'll try and address them as we go along. Otherwise, if something I feel it's a good question that more of you need to know, we can address it at the end. So I'm handing back over to you, Liam, because I think we've done a mini introduction to ourselves anyway, so we don't want to.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so as Kate said, we're going to start off the webinar now with an introduction to ABL Group to tell you a little bit more about who we are. So I'm going to hand over to Stuart for that.
Stuart, you're muted. No. To me, you're still muted.
Yes, that's it.
You're back.
Let's go now. Okay, who is ABL Group? We are a leading independent global consultancy delivering energy, marine engineering and digital solutions to drive safety and sustainability in energy and oceans. And we have a legacy dating back more than 150 years. Next slide, please, Liam. Okay, this shows a graphic example of the through life cycle support provided by ABL Group companies and the industry sectors in which we operate. There's the renewables, which consists of wind power, both offshore and onshore, solar PV, and hydrogen, carbon capture and storage, as well as transportation. Maritime, we have shipping, ports and harbours, defence, small craft and yachts. Then on the oil and gas side, we cross the full spectrum of upstream, midstream, downstream sectors. Next slide, please, Liam. What is our service portfolio? The services within the industry sectors where we operate are renewable energy and consulting, design and engineering, maritime services, energy services, consulting and engineering, loss prevention, loss management, rig wells and subsea, asset integrity management and resourcing. Next slide, please, Liam. Who we are. We have a head office in Oslo in Norway. We're also listed on the Oslo Stock Exchange. There's 4 companies within the ABL Group, which are ABL, AGR, OWC and Longitude. The life cycle of a project or an asset, you can see along the top there, planning and permitting, engineering and development, construction, operations and maritime, and decommissioning. The 4 group companies work together to cover this entire life cycle. Next slide, please, Liam. Where we are, we cover 43 countries worldwide, including 76 offices. I think that may be changed as of last week, up to 44 and 77, the introduction of an office in New Zealand. And across these offices, we employ in excess of 1,800 people.
Just seen that right off for New Zealand is missing, so yeah, that did need to be updated. We just recently opened office there.
Right. And group offshore wind experience, both floating and offshore. We've done over 50 plus floating projects, accumulating in over 15 gigawatts of floating capacity, and 330 offshore wind projects with a total of over 300 gigawatt total capacity.
Okay, thank you, Stuart. So
Okay.
I'm going to talk to you all now a bit more about the Engineer Development Programme, the EDP. Before I do that, I just want if you join the EDP, you will be known as an engineer in training, which we refer to as an EIT. So if you hear anyone using that expression, that's what it means, engineering training. Okay, so as you know, as you may know, the EDP is spread over 4 years. And what we hope to achieve within those 4 years is exposure to all the different business and service lines that we do. So you will have time over those 4 years to do some work in longitude, ABL, and OWC and AGR, depending on the business needs at the time. So, but it's definitely hope that you will definitely get a broad range of exposure there. The scheme is accredited by RENA, and we achieved that earlier this year in March time. And we also have accreditation with ICE, and soon to hopefully, fingers crossed, have charter accreditation with IMECI as well, and potentially IMRS later next year. So because of that, you know, we have to adhere to quite stringent standards and expectations. So you can expect a very comprehensive program that aligns with the expectations of the chartership bodies, making it a lot easier for you to gain chartership at the end or within a couple of years, very shortly after finishing the program to get chartership. So over the scheme, there's lots of things you'll be doing, and there's lots of support that you will also receive. So on the slide, you can see is just a bit more detail about some of that support. So upon starting the EDP, you will be assigned a technical mentor from the group. So it may not necessarily be someone from the same entity. So for example, if your first rotation is of longitude, you may well have a mentor in ABL or somewhere else. But we do like to provide you a mentor that's suiting the needs of your chartership or your journey with us over the 4 years. You're also assigned a peer mentor, and that's something that we started doing last year, which is someone already on the program, further along it, for you to discuss in an informal way any questions you may have about the EDP with someone who's living the EDP experience. We've had lots of positive feedback on that. You're also given logbooks as well for you to make note, to record your experiences, the work you do, the projects you do, and any training, etc. These obviously depend on the body that you'd wish to receive chartership from, the professional engineering body. But that's not something that sometimes people know straight away. Sometimes it might be a decision you make after a year or two, in which case there is a very detailed ABL group logbook as well that you could receive before you make the decision. It goes without saying really that over those 4 years, because you will be doing extensive travel across our business, across the different service lines and entities, it's a great opportunity for you to really kind of meet different people from different backgrounds, professionally, culturally, etc., for you to kind of get your face known and really kind of learn about some of the stuff we do, and hopefully, give you a better understanding of the work we do and opportunities for you in the future. Another thing we do is really provide very detailed support for people wanting to attain professional engineering status. So, for example, we will assign you with a mentor that is registered already as a chartered registered engineer with the body that you're interested in joining, and they would have received bespoke training from the provider, from the body such as RENA or IMECI, to make sure that they give you all the support you need. There's also intercompany opportunities for potential secondments. That's something that over the 4 years you will have opportunities to think about whether that's something you'll be interested in doing. And yeah, the diverse experiences, obviously, I've mentioned that there's lots of different things that you could be doing. One thing that we often say here, and actually Stuart can echo that as well, is to keep an open mind throughout the programme. So that's something we really kind of look for people who want to join the EDP, is that you're open to what might come your way, what opportunities might come your way. Very often, we've had people before who join with quite a fixed idea of what they want their career to look like or their journey to look like. And for one reason or another, it's kind of deviated slightly. They've done something else, and actually that's opened their eyes to different career paths that they may not have even known or considered before. So that's something we really encourage, is to have that open mind. And the last one here, the increased visibility. So I've already mentioned that really. You get to know many, many people within the company very quickly over those 4 years. And obviously that's a great opportunity to kind of learn more as well. So the next slide here is just the benefits really to us as a company and to you as the individual wanting to join the EDP. So there's the international working experience rotations as well. Lots of exciting places to travel to explore and to gain work experience in. There's the support that we provide you during those rotations as well. So there's the kind of the pastoral support, I guess, the well-being support, make sure that you're equipped and that you understand and that you've got someone in the location that you're moving to kind of give you that friendly support. The mentorship opportunities and the experience of the diverse company sectors and industries we work with. And then there's also the assistance towards applying for chartership that I mentioned, and the unique opportunities generally that we will be able to offer you during that time. There's the other support as well, for example, with visa support if you were to be going to somewhere new, or if you're joining the if you're joining the EDP in the UK and you're an international student. That's a question I am very often asked, and it's absolutely something that we will support for the right candidate.
We were just asked that question as well in the Q&A
right, yeah.
Twice, and I just answered it, guys, but you heard it from Liam too, that yes, we are to sponsor people in the UK now, you need to be a licensed employer, so not everyone can sponsor people. We are a licensed employer and we can sponsor people. Obviously, there's a cost attached, but we would consider it for the right candidates.
Absolutely.
But also the global footprint allows us to place people in different countries. So.
Definitely. And for us as a company, it's really important that we attract young, promising engineering talent. So that's, one of the things why we run this program. It's also, it's a good experience for our employees, our current, our team here, that they get to have those interactions with fresh talent that may be providing insights from their studies that might prove useful. Breaking down the silos as well, so creating that togetherness, that one company culture that we really try to promote here, and that out of the box thinking as well. Bringing people in who may have different ways of thinking that are definitely valued and respected here at ABL Group. So now I'm going to talk about what you will achieve over those 4 years. So, obviously, you would now get an opportunity to apply that theoretical, that knowledge you've attained over your studies in a practical way over your time now doing the EDP. So it would be an extension of those engineering skills. Also as well, experience in different fields and different market sectors. This goes back to my point earlier where I spoke about keeping the open mind. Even if it's not something that, you might not be absolutely enthralled about, if it was a potential rotation, it's still a good exposure for that year to see different things going on within the engineering sector. And enhancing your flexibility and adaptability to cope with rapid changes. That's something that, working in this industry, you will come across very often, and it's something that will only serve to benefit you over those 4 years, having lots of exposure doing that, especially moving countries, moving to different offices and seeing the way they work as well. And that goes into the last point here about working within an international team and experience working different offices. Obviously, that has numerous benefits that you will be able to gain during that time. And here on the right, we've got some of the bodies that we've got accreditation with, like I mentioned, ICE, ICE, and RENA, and hopefully by the end of February, March this year, we'll have an addition of IMECI and potentially more as well. Is there anything you wanted to add, Kate or Stuart, to this, by the way?
No, I think you're covering things. I'm also seeing a lot of questions coming in, which is really good, guys. Keep asking questions. I'll keep on answering them, and then at the end we'll do like a sum up. Liam, you can do like a bit of review of the questions. But yeah, some of your questions might be answered, but still put them in the chat. It's good to see me writing. Keep me on my toes typing around. But
no such thing as a silly question.
No such thing as a silly question. Me and Liam are both ex-teachers here, so no such thing as a silly question, but that's also a saying that we have in the L&D team.
Yeah.
But I can speak for the benefits of working in an international team. There are questions about that and visa sponsorship and stuff, but yeah, you get so much in terms of diversity out of the program, which is something that if I had a chance, I would do it, to be honest with you, Liam.
Yeah. And there's lots of collaboration here within the company today. For example, today already I spoke with teams in France, Malaysia, and Australia and London. So, you're definitely reaching out to people in all different places. And here's just, I don't know how clear that is for you, actually. I should have made that a bit bigger. So these are some of the photos that we've received from people, from EITs on the EDP, and some of the experience that they've got as well. Lots of professional experiences, opportunities, exciting ones as well. And then there's the more kind of relaxed social side of being part of the EDP and really being part of ABL as well. Lots of different things going on that caters to everyone's interests and needs and stuff. Really, really nice place to work for. With, for example, this year I ran the London Marathon with a few of my colleagues from the London office.
You had to say it.
Yeah, I know. I've been trying to find an opportunity to get that in here, so I'm glad I did. Feel free to congratulate me in the chat. And yeah, so lots of different things going on. And as I said, something for everyone. Okay, so that's enough from me. Thank you for listening. And now what I'm going to do is pass you over to our participants of the EDP. The first one here, actually, Paloma. She is an ex-EIT, so she finished the program in 2022, and I will let her tell you now more about what she's been up to during her time on EDP and since then. Over to you, Paloma.
Brilliant. Thanks, Liam. And it was really well done on the marathon.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Paloma Medina. I'm a senior naval architect. And like Liam said, I did the EDP scheme from 2018 to 2022. Thank you. So a little bit about me is that I was a sailor at Torrevieja, which is in Spain. And then that was kind of the natural progression, was that I wanted to study something related to ships. And I found that Southampton had a degree for that. So I studied the ME in naval architecture there. And just before I was about to finish, I got my position at the EDS scheme in 2018. And it was an amazing experience. I did my placements in Longitude in Exeter, and then I went to Longitude Singapore. And afterwards, I moved back to London, where I was in ABL. So it was quite soon after I finished my placements that I was able to get my chartership. And that was all thanks to the 4 years that I had done previously that allowed me to tick all the boxes. And then I became a senior naval architect, and I work in the MWS renewables team. So you can see in the images a little bit of a progression of me sailing in the team and competing. Then I moved to become an engineer in the EDP scheme, EDS scheme, and that's actually my first month in the scheme where they took us on a shipyard training. And then the last one is on my last year of the EDS scheme. Yes, so you can see the progression a bit there. All right, next.
So, sorry, the EDS was what the EDP was previously called. So when Paloma did it, it was referred to as EDS. Now it's EDP. So confusion.
Sorry, so I was saying it right the first time.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's right for you, yeah.
Brilliant. So I'm going to speak a little bit about what I did back then and what I do now. So I was in Longitude for 2.5 years. So I was in Exeter first, where we did a lot of analysis and design of offshore operations. So you can see on the left one example of what it would be to do an analysis of a cable. We also did moorings. This placement was more based in renewables operations. But you get really interesting projects from all different types. Then when I moved to Singapore, that allowed me to do more oil and gas projects, but I also looked into vessel designs. So you can see on the right, this is one of the coolest ones, I would think. It's for 7 Clean Seas. So we did a river cleaning vessel. They're constructing it now. I think they've got a cooler name called Hippo and has a different design, but we did the concept of it. And then my additional half year in Longitude was because normally litigations you do with ABL, but I just had the opportunity to stay in Longitude because we were doing a design arbitration for a vessel. So something had gone wrong, so we needed to we were the expert witnesses. So I was supporting one of the team member to do all the analysis of what went wrong, and that, it went on for 3 years, so it's quite long, but it was really interesting. I learned a lot, and it was really rewarding at the end. Can we go to the next slide, please? And then my last year and a half, I was in the marine warranty team. I was in renewables mainly, but you get to do a bit of everything. So what is marine warranty? Because that's going to be a word that you might hear throughout the presentation, and probably if you hear about ABL. So it's like a third-party engineering specialist. So we'll help, for example, insurance to ensure that when they're insuring an asset, there's the right engineering behind it, and the operation around this asset that costs a lot of money is going to be done securely, and it's going to be done successfully. So because I'm in the renewables team, some of the projects that I've worked on are Arcadis Ost wind farm, NNG offshore wind farm. There's also not just wind farms, but you also have interconnectors. So Viking Link is one of the projects I worked on. I'm actually was the deputy project manager for that, also for Arcadis Ost. And you get to do other types of renewable projects. So it's not just wind farms and interconnectors, because sometimes there's other types of renewable assets, like the one you see on the right, which is it's a no-tech technology. This is fairly new, so I'm the PM for that now, and it's an offshore thermal energy converter. So you get to see different renewable projects that you help install and ensure that they're done safely and correctly. So I think, as you see, you will grow from being part of a team, doing the dock review, going offshore. So for these as well, you get to go onto the shipyard, you get to go offshore to the vessel, you get to see how they're actually installing the wind farm and the turbines and the cable. So it's quite interesting, and you'd be surprised how big everything is. It looks really small here, but I'm actually in those vessels that you see there, but you can't actually see me there. So it's really an amazing role, and I think the engineering scheme for me, it was an opportunity to see how big this industry is. It's very big, and there's so much to do. So if you're interested, if you're a determined person, if you're ambitious and you have an appetite to make the most of it, I do hope that you apply and you make the most of it. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I know you have to disappear now. I'm just wondering if there's any questions directly for Paloma.
Yes.
If you want to put anything in the Q&A, people, I can read it out for Paloma. Otherwise, Paloma can always come back to you and we can reply to you via email. So if you have a question for Paloma, just write, this is for Paloma, and I'll take it to her after this.
Yeah, absolutely. And also on LinkedIn, just say, oh, I was in the webinar. And I can also answer questions if needed.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your contribution there and sharing your insights into your experience with the EDP, Paloma. And I will let you know if there's any questions. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so now I'm going to pass over to Amy Barker now. Amy is in her third year of the EDP, and I'll let Amy do the rest of the talking. Thank you very much. Over to you, Amy.
No worries. Thanks, Liam. Yes, so my name's Amy. So I'm a naval architect by background, and I'm currently within ABL in the London office. Yeah, next slide, please. Thanks. So a bit about me. So similar to Paloma, I had a background in sailing when I was younger, and that led me to do the ship science course at University of Southampton. And then directly after that, I joined the EDP in 2022, and I started with Longitude in Southampton within the naval architecture and hydrodynamics teams. And then after that, I moved to OWC in London, where I was in more of a engineering consultancy role in the ports and harbors team and also the cables teams. And then recently, I just moved to ABL London, where I'm a naval architect in the MWS Renewables team. So I just moved to Paloma's team. So I just have, oh, sorry, could you go back? Thank you. So just on the right here, so the two of the pictures where we're in overalls is from a recent visit to a shipyard in Liverpool. So it's like me and a couple of the other grads on the EDP. We spent a whole week there. I know it was a really great experience. We got to see a lot of cool things. And also there's plenty of opportunities within ABL group to practice your presentation skills. So whilst at Longitude, I got to do a market briefing presentation on a net zero ship design that I've been working on, which was a really great experience. Yeah, next slide, please. Thank you. So just a bit about the work I did at Longitude. So within the vessel design team, I got to work on a range of vessel designs which were either zero emission or alternative fuel ready, which is quite an interesting design challenge because the machinery space is quite a novel design, so it's really cool to be involved in something like that. You also get to do some attendances with Longitude sometimes. So I got to go on a Navy ship with a Bay class vessel, and we did a survey of the structure on the flight deck and got to go up in a cherry picker, which is quite a cool experience. They also get to do kind of 3D modeling and then like detailed hydrodynamic analysis. So it's mainly in renewables, but you do get to do other things as well. So one project I did, which is shown in the image here, is it was a project in Bangladesh, which is a design of a pontoon for monsoon relief. So we were modeling the loads on the mooring piles in monsoon conditions, which is quite extreme waves and winds. So that was a really interesting challenge. Next page, next slide, please. Thank you. Yeah, so next was OWC for me, which I really enjoyed this placement. So this isn't something that I saw myself doing initially when I came into the scheme. But I sort of just took a chance on it and I really enjoyed especially the ports and harbors renewables work. So this is more early stage work compared to Longitude, which is more detailed design. So we'll do sort of port suitability assessments for fixed and floating offshore wind projects. And also got to do some alternative fuel storage for ammonia and hydrogen for so ships that would want to bunker these fuels, which was quite interesting. You also can have the opportunity to do port site visits in this in this team as well. And then finally, I also got to work in the cables team. So where we would look at designing the best cable route from the wind farm site to the shore. So you'd have to kind of avoid objects on the seabed or any areas of the seabed where the conditions are not good. So it's quite different to naval architecture, but still a really worthwhile placement. And I would say that it gave me quite good commercial awareness of the offshore wind industry in general, which I didn't have before. So it was really good from that sense. Yeah, next slide, thank you. Yep, so I just moved to the Marine Warranty Surveyor team in London. So yeah, only moved a couple months ago, so haven't had that much experience yet. But so far it's been a mixture of site attendances, surveys, document review, and some support to project management as well. One of the really great things about this as well is the company will put you through a GWO or BOSIET training, which is like a sea safety course. Involves like helicopter survival and things like that. So it's quite cool. And yeah, so the pictures here are from the attendances that I've been on so far. So I got to shadow on a vessel suitability survey. So it's where you check the condition of the vessel is suitable for the operation that it's going to be doing. And then also a cable basket loadout for spare cable for an offshore wind farm based in the UK. And sorry, these pictures are so grey skied. I'm sure that it's not normally that grey, but I've only been here since September, so yeah.
There was a picture before that was
Sunny, right?
nice and funny. There's
Yeah.
the chat that I think Amy will be best placed
Yep.
to reply to, because
Okay.
is what key skills or experiences would you recommend developing to excel as a marine warranty surveyor, particularly in the context of the work ABL Group does?
Okay. Yeah, so I think a good thing about this scheme is that longitude probably gives you the best experience to be able to excel in this role. So when you're reviewing documents, they're the kind of documents that you might produce whilst being at longitude. So I think just kind of getting a solid engineering background is probably the main thing. And then you can sort of from there you can use that knowledge to check and de-risk the documents.
That's
That's
really.
probably
And also the BOSIA training is something that we funded out of the
yeah.
EU funding, right? So it's something that not every graduate would potentially get, but it's something that we are in a position to support because of I don't know, Liam, if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, it's something that I've been working on for a few months, was finding the best training providers really for the needs of our EITs. And we found a great training provider based in Aberdeen and Newcastle. And they have put together an offshore survival training package for us, which does include the MIST and BOSIET training, also various medicals and stuff as well that you will gain over a full week there. And yeah, so you spend the week up there and then you come back with all the training, and that will last you for I think about 2 or 3 years.
And if that sounds all Greek to you, I see that we have a few Greeks in the chat as well. But if that sounds all Greek to you, that's okay. But it's an example of us owning up to our commitment to provide training to people above and beyond what a graduate of 3 years of experience would normally get, because these are very expensive training packages.
Yeah, and going back to Amy's slide here. So in the bottom picture, Amy spoke about her time in Liverpool. That was something that shipyard familiarization course that we were able to facilitate in partnership with a shipyard in Birkenhead. It's very hard to get these opportunities, but we've worked hard in building this relationship with the shipyard.
Liam and Stuart have done a lot of work, a lot of legwork on this.
So the 4 people you see in the photo there are 4 EITs in their first, second and third year that were afforded with this opportunity. And it's something that we will be able to continue every 6 months. So everybody on the programme will have an opportunity to spend that week there. And the feedback from both the shipyard and the EITs was amazing and really encouraging. Absolutely something we're going to continue doing. I will now. Sorry, Amy, are you? Yeah, you're finished, Amy, aren't you?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, thank you.
No more questions
No.
for Amy now.
Brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to go over to Joe now. Joe was actually someone in the photo of Amy there who spent. Oh no, he wasn't. He was in a different photo. He was.
Yeah, not that one.
Yeah, no, different
Ross,
one. Yeah,
Joe was on another boat.
yeah. But Joe will, I hope, tell you a bit more about that in his presentation now. Thank you, Joe. Over to you.
Yeah, no worries. Going to sound like a little bit of a broken record here because I'm also someone who used to sail, went to Southampton, did a master's in ship science there.
There were
So
a few questions about what are the ideal qualities for a person to have to apply for the EDP. Sailing is not one of them, guys. This is a question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, should say I work with a lot of mechanical, aero, civil, and electrical engineers on the EDP scheme. So there's it's not just naval architects. Yeah, so I went to the University of Southampton, did my master's in ship science there. My first placement on the EDP scheme was at Exeter, at the Longitude part of the business. So I'm currently now working for ABL Maritime, mainly on maritime litigation stuff, but also renewable port infrastructure work. And I'm based in London now. Next slide, please.
You forgot about the shadow board bit as well, did you?
Well, Paloma didn't talk too much about it either, but I'm on the shadow board at the moment with Paloma, which is like an under 30s team. It lasts for 18 months. It's something that the ABL group runs. It's company wide, and they pick 12 people under the age of 30 to work on initiatives to help improve the company. And you get to meet a lot of the senior managers in the company, a lot of the C-suite execs, which can be a little bit intimidating, but it's quite exciting to build up a bit of a rapport from them, get to know the inner workings of the business, and get to work on stuff you wouldn't usually work on at quite a junior level on the team, which is fun. But yeah, so my first year at Longitude, I mainly worked on offshore wind projects, some oil and gas projects as well, predominantly doing marine operations engineering. So that was all it. And that was a lot of like hydrodynamic modeling for like cables, umbilicals, and mooring arrangements. Typical like marine operations engineerings that I worked on was stuff like skid mooring analyses, grounding analyses, cable abandonment and recovery, landfall pull-ins. If you don't know what any of those are, then don't worry, because I didn't until I started the company, and I did modules in renewable engineering. So there's quite a lot to learn. I also got to play around with the software on the slide there. So Orcaflex, Moses, Optimore, GHS, Rhino. Again, a lot of that software I hadn't used before until starting the company. So again, kind of shows how much you end up learning just in your first year on the program. Next slide. Yeah, as I mentioned, I'm currently working for ABL Maritime in London. So I've started there at the beginning of September. Part of the work I do is working on maritime litigation cases. So we've had, so far I've worked on a salvage claim to do with a ship fire, as well as an expert witness report to do with an allision between a moored ship and another one passing by, which is quite different to my previous work at Longitude. Longitude, it was a bit more 9 to 5, predictable, whereas at London it's a bit more reactive. So we're kind of quiet sometimes, then working very hard when work comes in relating to these incidents. I've also worked on some other projects to do with the Sapna Trust Partnership, which is a company that works on climate data tech and fintech stuff. A lot of AI stuff that I don't understand, but they're looking at working out how to predict vessel emissions, and we're working with them to get their model to work efficiently. So I've done a few things there. As Liam mentioned previously as well, I got the opportunity to go to Norway this year to go see the Ross Eagle in a shipyard and look at them retrofitting an A-frame for ROV operations. And it was quite exciting actually to see a few weeks ago that it's now the upgrades are all finished and it's out doing operations and making us money, which is good. I've also had a vessel attendance for a permanently moored vessel on the Thames and a dynamometer attendance where I shadowed one of our marine engineers on site. But yeah, that's my experience so far on the EDP scheme.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, you've got 2 more rotations to go, haven't you?
Yeah.
Any questions for Joe in the chat?
No. There's a question that I don't know if, Joe, you want to take, but it says, are strong programming skills essential for the program, such as with Python? I don't know if, Joe, you want to take that.
Apart from really in the hydrodynamic team on longitude, I don't think it's necessary. I think we use it a bit, and there's programs that exist, but
it's like everything else. I would say that it's a nice to have, but it's not essential.
No, not at all.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for that, Joe. I am going to now pass over to Christina, who is in her 2nd year.
Yes.
Yes. 2nd year EIT. So over to you, Christina.
Oh, hello everyone. I'm gonna break the pattern here and say that I didn't sail. So if you didn't sail, you still have a chance of joining the EDP. So I have an offshore engineering background from Newcastle University. And for my first rotation, I was in OWC as a graduate engineer. And because I had so much good time there, I decided to stay for another year for rotating to the ABL team.
Oh, she
First
froze.
year when I was in OWC.
Sorry, Christina, you froze. Can you repeat that?
For year
Can
1.
you not hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
We can hear you now. Just started the OWC Greece rotation.
Okay. So joining OWC, I didn't have like a lot of idea what to expect because they have so much like broad business lines in that you can get into different kind of projects. So I started with a regulatory analysis, which we investigated like the tender processes for different markets in the offshore wind sector. So that will define that helped to define the offshore regulatory process that I was going to use in Sri Lanka. And then I got involved to a lot of floating solar projects with the INOC team because INOC is part of OWC, so we work regularly together in different kind of projects. And also quite a lot of energy yield analysis that I've been trained while I was in OWC. And quite a lot of proposal, a bit support that gives you a better idea of how things are actually working in like building a project. And also being part of the Greek team because offshore wind is something very new to Greece. And still, like the laws are being developed. It has been a great experience because I got to be part of too many conferences and network with people and actually be part of something like so new and that is gonna have a great future ahead. And for my second rotation, now with the ABL team, I've been part in a lot of surveys, different kind of surveys, so like marine warranty surveys for like loading. So the picture on the right, I'm in Spain, where I went for my first solo survey for a project for Equinor. Quite a lot of port surveys for like vessels that are going to their last journey essentially, and the insurers need an extra like validation that the vessel is being held in a safe place. And also one of the coolest projects I was lucky enough to be involved with, it was for a vessel that was hit by a rocket missile in Yemen, and with the Greek team we got to be part in overseeing the repairs. And actually recently the vessel was again was hit by another vessel, like in a port in India. And luckily enough, nothing happened. And we joke around that, we fixed it very, very well because it's just the other vessel collapsed. Yeah, but also we do quite a lot of like office reviews. So like we go to different vessel operators and vessel managers, and we go and investigate the regulations, how they organize the attendances, the repairs. Yeah, so that's what an office audit is called, and what it's for. And also quite a lot of hull machinery desktop reviews for like claims that a vessel has been to collisions or like an incident happened, and you have to investigate like if the current repairs that the ship repairs are proposing, if they're relevant to the claim or to the case that the vessel has been in for. And also sea trials for yachts, for like so when a yacht changes an engines or something, like it renews, you have to do some sea trials and check like the maintenance reports to make sure that everything works. And also I've been lucky enough to be part in some project management scope of works, because recently got a very nice project here in Greece. And now I'm doing the document control of the project. That's a skill that it might not be as fun, but it's a skill that a project manager will need to have. And yeah, I think that's it for me.
Thank you very much. That's a really cool video there that you've got on that slide.
I can't
Yes.
stop watching
Yeah, I
it.
know.
I'm like a
So
cat.
that's the inside of the bulk carrier that was hit by a vessel that was essentially like everything was taken off and renewed.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So-
That's pretty cool.
so yeah.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christina. Are there any questions for Christina? Or any-
Where's-
No, there's a question about electrical engineering, but I'm answering that.
Okay.
I don't think that was meant for Christina.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, Christina, for sharing your insights, your experience with the EDP.
No worries.
And I'm going to pass over to Lucia now, who is one of our first year EITs based in Paris office, and who we actually met last week again on our EIT training day. So we invited our EITs to the London office for an opportunity to just, again, see each other in person, share their experiences so far. And there was lots of training going on, focused mainly on exposing them more to the other aspects of the business, like HSEQ, finance, the ESG team, and also an opportunity really for them to get together and, have some food.
If you were to follow us, on Instagram, you could see a photo of them going for drinks after
Yes.
after the
Yeah, or on my LinkedIn, actually, it's on there as well. So over to Lucia.
Hi, well, I'm Lucia. My background is in naval architecture and ocean engineering too. I studied at the Technical University of Madrid with a year abroad in Denmark. And I've specialized to my bachelor and master's thesis in ship energy efficiency and oceanic artifacts. So I'm passionate about the maritime industry, and I wanted to work somewhere where my work would have a real impact in the world. And that's the reason I joined ABL. And the EDP allows me to continue to learn and work surrounded by exceptional professionals. Everywhere I go, I can see that. And well, to live like experiences in different parts of the world. Next slide, please. So, well, I just joined in September, and I'm currently doing my first rotation in ABL's office in Paris, and my experience is so far being really good. I've been working mainly in tenders and opportunities for the owner's engineering department, also for marine warranty survey department. And I'm soon to start an on-site marine warranty survey operation as a trainee. So, well, I can't say much more for the moment, but so far it's been an amazing experience, and I'm really enthusiastic about my next projects and rotations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, I know you've only been here for a couple of months, but already we can see that you've had lots of opportunities and there's many more exciting things to come. So thank you for sharing that with us. Any questions at all now? No.
No.
Brilliant. Okay, so what I think Christina alluded to it. During this presentation, there were quite a few people with naval architecture backgrounds. So I just really wanted to use the next couple of slides to illustrate the range of experiences and backgrounds that our EITs have. So here you can see on this slide, this is our first year cohort. So these are the people that started with us in September. And from a range of universities, you can see there, and a range of backgrounds and academic backgrounds, and also from a range of countries as well. So we've got people here based in the UK, in France, and we've also got people here as part of our APAC EDP, Asia Pacific EDP. So we've got people in Taiwan and Malaysia as well, which is really cool. And in our second year, again, people London, in Greece, Scotland as well, and in our Norway offices. Yeah, great bunch of people there in our second year. And in the third and fourth year, again, Norway, we've got people in Australia, the Nantes office, Abu Dhabi, Perth, and there also have been rotations in Singapore, New York, I think there was another one, wasn't there?
Yeah, New York and
Hamburg.
Houston was another one. Yeah.
Hamburg. So yeah, where you saw one of the brightly lit dots earlier on the map, there's an office there, and there's always a chance that there could be a rotation there in the future for you as well. So these are our current EITs. They're all great, and I've all got to know them really well over the past year and a bit that I've been managing the EDP, and they're a great support network as well for you when you join the program. They're a really friendly bunch. They're always kind of having meetings. Obviously, it's not quite as easy to facilitate an in-person meeting when you're based all over the place, but they all do stay in touch with each other, and yeah, great support network there. Before we wrap up as well, I just thought it would be interesting for you to kind of see what happens, what we do with you, what we want to do with you after you finish the EDP. So once you finish those 4 years, we will meet with you. When I say we, it's me and Stuart. We will meet with you in your 4th year. We will speak with you and find out about your rotations and kind of where your head's turning now. You know, what's interested you? Where do you see yourself within the company? You know, we've invested a lot of time, effort, money into developing you, and we absolutely want you to continue developing throughout your time at ABL Group. So Hamish here, he's an ex-EIT, and he is now the operations manager at ABL Germany. As you can read there from his testimonial, he had really enjoyed it, got exposure to lots of different parts of the business, and is now doing really well in his current role. Anything you want to add on Hamish?
No, not yet, no.
Hamish was before my time managing it, so yeah, Kate will be what will be. And then we've got Charlotte as well. So she's the regional BD and strategy manager based in London. She completed the EDP a few years ago and has since gone on to gain her chartership with RENA as well. Big face in the company already, really well known, really well respected as well in the company, and also by our EITs as well. She's often someone I go to for feedback, for advice sometimes, you know, with the EDP. And yeah, she's done fantastically since coming off the program as well. Finally, it's not just those two. There are many other people that have successfully completed the EDP and have gone on to stay with us for many years after, which is exactly what we want. We've got people now that are based all over the world, as you can see here, ranging from Canada to Vietnam, Singapore, and all taking really important roles within the business here. You can see Paloma, who you met earlier. So it says ABL London. I thought she was based in Madrid now, but
she's based in Madrid, but she reports to
oh, there we go.
ABL London.
Yeah, so there's lots of opportunity. We, you know, this is why, going back earlier to why it's important for us as a company, because you will go on to have a very valued role with us. You know, well, you will during those 4 years, but after those 4 years as well, we will continue to develop you and make sure that there's a very valued space for you here at ABL Group.
Liam, in the interest of time, because it's
Yeah.
5 past, if it's okay, because I've been answering the questions, that I do a wrap up of the main points that were raised, and maybe you can add something if we can keep you in the chat for a minute or more longer, but you need to go over the application process.
Yeah, this is my final bit now before we move on to that. So just really to kind of go over the application process. So it went live on the 28th of October. We have received well over 100 applications already, very impressive applications already. And these will go, this will close on the 31st of December. So if you're interested, please make sure that you get your application in before then. As you can see today, we've had the EDP webinar, which has been recorded, so we'll be able to share that with people who have missed it, or if you'd like to just go over it again at another point, feel free to do so. And then following that, once the applications have been received and it's closed, we will, and with the support of our talent acquisition team, screen the applications, and those who have been successful will be invited to an assessment day here in the London office on the 20th of February next year.
So thank you for that. Liam, I'm looking back to the questions and I'm trying to find any patterns there in things that we've already answered. One question that kept recurring was do we sponsor people? Yes, we do sponsor people for the right candidate. You replied to that. You asked about international students. We do accept international students. We do accept people from international universities.
Yeah.
We do, absolutely. We have, there were 2 people asking what qualities we're looking in a candidate. I'll say what I answered, and maybe Liam, you can add to that if you want. So what I said is like bright, curious, someone that's flexible and adaptable, open to change, open to challenges, and you mentioned that as well. Proactive, but I said most of all, we're looking for authentic people who want to learn and grow with the company.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Just what I said earlier, and I'm sure I'm answering this for Stuart as well, about having an open mind. This is an ever-changing industry, as you are aware already, and having an open mind to the various challenges and opportunities as well that come your way will prove to be really useful for you, especially on this program as well.
Yeah, there was a question about the applications. I think I answered that adequately. Someone asked about working styles within the ABL group. We're very collaborative. It's a very flat company. Our CEO is always, if you see me green, call me. So there's no, that's in some traditional energy companies, there was a very strict hierarchy. That's not who we are. We're very open. We're very acceptable. Oh, there was a question about prior experience. And I said that that's a nice to have, but not necessary, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Just double checking my answers there, guys.
I think going off better working styles as well, and other things that, we have the hot desking in the office, don't we? So there's opportunities to...
Even though we guys sit in the same.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
How many people we're looking to hire? I said 8 to 10.
Around that,
around that number, and that they will start in September 2025. People will start in September 2025. And then someone asked why are we focusing in the UK universities? My answer is that historically the program was based out of the UK. The team that was managing it was in the UK, and there were no dedicated resources to this. But now we are building a lot more relationships with international universities.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something I've really, really tried hard to do this year as well, was build and reach out to those universities. And it's made a hell of a lot easier when people have contacts within that university. So, for example, Lucia, who spoke earlier, she's helping us get in touch with the university where she studied. And yeah, it's something we're continuing to do as well.
There are a couple of questions that literally just came in. One is about our sustainability commitment. Please read more about that because it would take me hours to talk about it. But please, we have a lot on sustainability on our website. And there's more that we can let you know on a separate sort of session, or reach out to us via email. It's not mandatory to have a UK degree. No. Yes, you will be informed. Sorry, I'm just trying to spitball questions here. Yes, you will be informed if you haven't been selected for the program. Of course, you will. Unfortunately, someone asked if we can give individualized feedback to everyone. With the amount of applications that we've received, probably not. But if you want specific feedback on your application, reach out and we will spend some time to try and see what happened there. And also someone said that's one for you, Liam. He said if you will be out of the country for the assessment day, is it still worth applying?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So last year there were people who couldn't make it. We had someone in Algeria and somewhere else. Yeah, they were able to attend the virtual session. It may not be on the same day. It's likely to be on maybe the week before or the week after, because it's a bit more for us to coordinate with the people and stuff that you'll be interviewing with. But yeah, absolutely. If you can't make it, don't worry, we'll accommodate for that.
And also we are an accessible employer, so if you have any specific requirements, any reasons, anything that you want to want help from us, just reach out. I'm aware that we're like six minutes over time. So
It's pretty good still.
It's pretty good still. I think it's pretty cool. I've got all questions answered. I don't see any new questions coming in. One last question, guys. We have time for one last question. Liam, for you, will the assessment day be held in the London office?
The in-person one will be held in the London office, but as I said, if you can't make that, don't worry, we'll be able to accommodate for people virtually to attend as well.
Yeah. Perfect. So I think that's all the time that we have for questions. Handing back over to you, Liam, to wrap up.
Yeah.
And
my phone has lit up several times here, Drew, with LinkedIn requests, and that's absolutely fine. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or Kate even for more about the company or more about the program, as well as the people that you've met today. Feel free to reach out to them. Just want to thank you all so much for giving up time this evening to meet with us and to hear more about the engineer development program. Honestly, I absolutely love doing this role, and every application I receive, I personally do sit and read, and I love hearing more about you and your experiences. And so, yeah.
Someone put in the chat, thank you so much for the transparency. And I think that's the best comment that you could have made, whoever made it. It was anonymous, but thank you for making it, because that's something that we've been working.
Yeah.
We love the program. We've seen the impact that it can have on
Yeah.
the business, and we're very proud of it.
Yeah,
so I've got tears in my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're here to support you. So do feel free to reach out if you've got any more questions or anything like that. As I said, this webinar has been recorded. So give me a couple of days, because it needs to be saved and sort of, sent to the marketing team. You will find that most likely on our LinkedIn or on our YouTube page as well. And yeah, looking forward to receiving many more applications from you, and just really wish you a nice evening. And
Thank you, everyone.
Yep, thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Thanks to our speakers as well, to our panelists.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my mouse. Bye, everyone.